Mohammed Atta did cocaine? Mohammed Atta was seen doing cocaine several times before 9/11. And what's more, Atta isn't seen doing this all by himself. Often, Rudy Deckers is with him, the guy who runs the flight school. There are over 200 flight schools in Florida. Why did the hijackers just happen to choose Huffman? Huffman Aviation is authorized by the INS to issue these very popular vocational student visas to foreigners. These allow people to enter the country legally and without much paperwork. Mohammed Atta had one of these visas. Guess who gave it to him? It's Rudy Deckers, CEO of Huffman Aviation.
This morning at 7 o'clock I heard what happened, and the first thing I questioned myself was if I would have known. I would kill him by my own bare hands. If I have a Muslim coming in right now, I think that I'm going to be a human being and tell him get the hell out of my property here. The day that all this occurred, we felt very, very sad, like all the other Americans.
Deckers isn't American, he's Dutch. In his response,
how was it that you first came into contact with these men?
I have heard yesterday from my own police, because I don't have contact with every student that walks in, that these two individuals came in July 2000, checked our facility, said that they were flying in another facility in Tampa. They were not happy at that facility. They came back after a couple of days and decided that they wanted to fly with us.
But compare it with the words of the chief flight instructor at Jones Aviation in nearby Sarasota, Florida.
It was on or about June of, would have been 2000. They came up from Huffman Aviation. It's not our policy normally to enroll students from other schools. It has to pretty much be an exception.
Atta was already a pilot. He already had a private pilot's license. Isn't that right?
Not when he came here. No. He was close to getting a private license. He had 3/4 of the course complete.
The same course that Marwan was taking.
Yeah. Atta was the better pilot of the two. But both of them, I mean, looking at them both as two students learning together, where they were in the curriculum when they came here, they should have been a lot further along.
And I know it's difficult because you, in some sense, feel a little bit of responsibility, don't you?
No, we don't feel responsible for what happened at all, not nothing.
Let me ask you this. One of these men is widely considered to be responsible for a bus bombing in Israel. How was it that they could gain admittance to your school?
Well, they didn't came through our paperwork like they're calling from Europe, and we know 2 months ahead that they're showing up. As I said, they came from another flight school out of Florida. Probably that flight school did all the INS paperwork with them in their country. Atta and Al-Shihi walked into the front door, and we have no obligation whatsoever to do any background checks or passports or ID.
The flight schools didn't do anything wrong. The government needs to look at itself and look at procedures, what they can change, so this would not happen anymore.
the INS debacle left even mainstream reporters skeptical, if not downright embarrassed.
Exactly 6 months after the September 11th terrorist attacks, the man who trained 2 of the terrorists to fly got some unexpected paperwork in the mail.
Yesterday, Rudy Decker of Huffman Aviation in Venice received the visa application approvals for hijackers Mohammed Atta and Marwan Al-Shehi.
Because of some strangely suspicious timing, Rudy got to use the V word right on television. Vindicated.
I don't expect on a Monday morning when I come in and I open my mail to get 2 permits from Atta and Al-Shehi. I thought they were already past me. We applied for the right paperwork, and therefore I'm happy I can do that now.
So you feel vindicated?
Yes.
And suddenly the finger of blame was beginning to point towards the lowly INS.
Decker says he was not surprised to receive the paperwork on Atta and Al-Shehi 7 months after he sent it in. He said that's actually a short time. He says the process can sometimes take up to 2 years. The INS, meanwhile, is embarrassed by this whole situation, and in a release statement says that, quote, the current system for collection and tracking information on students is outdated, inaccurate, and obsolete.
Well, maybe I missed this while I was shaking my head, but explain again, because I read it. I'm not sure I understand what the INS is saying here. At some point, fairly recently, somehow these pages got stuck in an envelope and sent down to Florida. Now, did anybody look at them?
Apparently not.
You'd think those names, Atta, Al-Shehi, which are in the news probably more than anybody's, would stand out.
Deckers, for example, was recently forced to settle a lawsuit for sexual harassment, filed by an 18-year-old girl. A former employee, it turns out she was also the Huffman employee who filed the terrorist error-filled INS paperwork to get the visas that came back 6 months to the day after the attack.
You're aware of the numerous allegations of sexual harassment?
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, that's rumors around the airport. Airport's smaller community. It's like a small microcosm of society. Most airports are.